everyone. Good morning. We are going to have a second section today, the keynote speaking. And my name is Xuzhang Dai, and I've been an iEARN Taiwan members for 10 years. And now as a principal in Taichung area, the National Taichung Girls Senior High School, the most famous girls' school in Taichung, in central Taiwan. And today, we're going to have a presentation about the solar energy. In Taiwan, there's always a sunshine, but unfortunately, we don't have the sunshine this couple of days. It should be, in this season, it should be sunny. And because we are going to have a solar energy section, so it's going to have the sunshine outside. And that's good, because there's an air conditioning inside. The company is called Mortex. It sponsors for this conference. Mortex have been established in 1981. Begin with devices, the instrument about measurement or test, especially in the electricities. And in 1990s, they began their solar energy. The founders have been told that as the solar energy father of Taiwan, because they begin the solar energy, solar panel, solar cells in Taiwan. And the industry is quite good. So they got the top 10 of the whole world. Actually, they have been in the 6 biggest company in the solar industry. Today, we have the Senior Director of Marketing, Chen, Dr. Chen, to be here and talking about the solar energy and solar industry in the world. Let's big hand welcome Ms. James.
Thank you very much. And I heard you are from 40 different countries. That's pretty incredible. So welcome to Taiwan. If this is the first time, don't be surprised. This season is actually very sunny. Okay, it's not like this. So as we were driving, our company is in Tainan Science Park. As we're driving down, the weather is just getting better and better. So I bet if you walk outside now, you have sunshine. And some of these solar panels actually will work. Okay, so today I have the honor to give you a little bit introduction on the photovoltaic PV industry. It's also known as the solar industry. And it's one of the driving force for the next generation green energy. And it is very important, as you all know, the global warming is becoming not a subject for debating. It is a reality now. If you just go to the YouTube or any of the website, see those videos that people are filming while they're traveling in the Arctic Ocean. It's alarming, all these icebergs melting in the alarming speed. And the rising of the ocean water in 50 years will probably swallow 20% of the land. So that's terrible. So we have to stop that. And one of the most effective ways to stop that is by using the green energy, which including the solar energy and the wind power and the biomass and all these different things. But today, because we only work in the solar, so I'm going to be mainly focused on solar energy. But I will also talk about the comparison of different kinds of generation method from the green energy to the traditional fossil fuel. Okay, so let me begin the subject. If there's any, I know some of you are very technical and highly educated. Maybe I don't need to explain the detail, but in case you have any question, just raise your hand. Okay. So we're here trying to discuss the interesting subject, and you may be able to use some of the information in the future when you're talking to the students. And they are the future, I think, to really make sure that this Earth will survive in the right fashion. Okay? I think I pressed the wrong button, so that's why there's a big alarm. Okay, So these are the subjects. I think it's divided to like 3 areas. The first area is talking about what is the photovoltaic. Okay. So I'm just going to be explaining on the principle level. And then the next thing is going to be talking about what's in a PV system, what's in a solar system, what needs to be put together to generate electricity. So we have a mini demo system here. Later on, you're welcome to come to the front and take a look. And then we also talk about the industry supply chain a little bit, so you know exactly how these solar panels, solar cells are produced, and how we can make it more effective. And then talking about the global solar industry a little bit and the future development. Okay? So, human has been working a lot of things amazingly, and one of the things is photovoltaic. And fundamentally, you're harvesting the photon from the sun and convert that into electricity. And the interesting thing is the plants already know how to do that for a long, long time. And we're just beginning, as a human being, we're just beginning to understand some of the principles of that. So the photosynthesis, as we know it, is fundamentally harvesting sunlight into this, it's called a chloroplast. These little things will absorb the photon and then generate the electricity. Okay, not in the direct electricity. It will not shock you. Okay, when you touch the leaf, it will not shock you, obviously, but it turns into the nutrients. Okay, turns into the nutrient, and then we eat the plant, or animal eat the plant, we eat the animal, and so all these food chains eventually turn into the energy for us. And if you are studying the biotechnology, then you know biology. Okay, so you know actually the human body, all the living creatures, living organisms, is essentially powered by electrons. We are no different than our radios or cell phones. We're powered by electrons. So in the same way, the solar panel is doing the same thing. It's harvesting the sunlight and then turn that directly into the electricity. Okay. This is more direct because all these mechanical things, just input and output, pretty simple. It's not like plant, you have to go through the generating all these nutrients, and then we have to eat it and digest and eventually become that. That's why the life is so interesting. And this industry thing is very, very cold and rigid and input and output. Okay. So this phenomenon is called the photovoltaic. It's basically the sunlight shine into these kind of materials, which is essentially the semiconductor, a different kind of semiconductor. And the largest part of that is silicon. There's also other rare metals like Cadian terralites or copper, indium, gallium, selenite, all these different things. They are all capable of producing the electricity from the sunlight. Okay? And right now, the majority of the solar panel is produced by these two, the monocrystalline silicon and the multicrystalline silicon. Okay? This monocrystalline silicon is essentially the same material that are becoming the semiconductor chips that are in your computer, in your cell phones, in your iPhones, in your watches, and everything, you name it. Okay. So this semiconductor is not only capable of doing the computation, it's also capable of generating electrons, which you can use the electron to power all kinds of devices. Okay. For example, this little device here, as you can see, has 2 solar panels. This is the so-called emergency rescue package. So we ship a large quantity of this to Japan to help them to do the earthquake recovery. While in the disaster area, there's no power, nothing, only sun still shining. Sun still shining. So if you put this up in the sunshine, it's capable of generating electricity. Then you can charge your cell phone, you can charge your radio, and you can get help. So basically, that's what it's supposed to do. Okay. So this is very important, especially for the disaster area, and for some area like there's no electricity. This is also becoming very, very important. We have sponsored a large number of the Pacific Island countries for their students to be able to have the reading light in the nighttime, so that they can take their homework back home and study that. And this is all because of the photovoltaic system. Okay. Okay, so let me explain a little bit the principle why these kind of semiconductor is capable of generating electricity. As you can see here, this is basically a very large piece of, magnified to like probably 100 times or million times. So it's a section of a solar cell. These kind of thing, structure, is we call the conductors. Okay? The bigger one we call the bus bar, and the little one we call the fingers. So basically is the structure that you see on the surface. There are small lines across, and there are large lines going straight. The large line is this one, it's called the bus bar. Okay. So they are the conductors to take the electron out. So essentially this entire solar cell is a battery. It's a solar power battery. Okay. So when sunshine comes in, the semiconductor, it has a very amazing effect that through this N-type and the P-type down below here, it will causing the atoms split, the electrons and the holes. Okay. So you can see the orange part of that is we call the holes. It is the area that without electron, and the blue one is the electrons. So the electrons will be absorbed by this conductor and taken out. So that's the negative charge of that. And then the positive charge is basically the holes. So it's essentially a battery. And one battery will produce a little power. And then if you're connecting a lot of batteries, just like your flashlight, so normally will require at least 1 or 2 batteries. If you got those large one, so you probably need like 4 or 5 batteries connect together. The solar cell is like the same way arrangement. So the solar panel, as you can see the panel here, will use a large number of solar cells. And you're connecting all these solar cells together to give you a large amount of electricity. Okay? So the principle is very simple. Sunshine comes in and it splits the atoms into the holes and electrons. And then it conducted out and form the circuit so you can drive the electronic device like a light bulb. Okay? So, like I said earlier, so all these cells connected together becoming a solar panel. Okay? That is a small panel there. It's probably generating only about 10 watts or maybe 20 watts, something like that. A large panel, a regular size, will have 60 of these cells. Okay. So later on, you have to listen carefully because later on I'm going to ask you a question. How much power will this one cell will generate? The answer is in the presentation. So the large panel typically will have 60 cells connect together, so will give you a very high energy density or power. Will actually shock you. So when you see people walking on the roof connecting the solar panel, they have to be very careful. Wear the glove and the rubber sole shoes. Make sure they don't get shocked, because once you get shocked, it could kill you. Solar panel will actually kill you. It's a very, very dangerous device. That's why you need all kinds of security and all these protections. So there are 2 types of the solar system. Okay. The largest part of the dominant type is called the grid connected. Okay. So you put the solar panel onto your roof, and then you connect all these panels together to form a system. And all these electricities will flow to a device called inverter. Okay. Inverter is a device that will take the electricity generated from your solar panel, convert that into the regular electricity, which is over this side, it's called the direct current. It's called the DC. And just like the current coming out from the battery, it's direct current. And then the inverter will convert the direct current into the alternate current, or the AC, which is the one that we use in the house to power your refrigerator, your radio, everything. And these AC will not only power your house, like this washing machine. You can also feed that back into the so-called electricity grid, okay, for the power company. So actually, you'll be able to generate electricity and sell that back into the power company and get some profit, okay? Like in Taiwan, if you install the panel, if you generate 1 kilowatt hour, which is the unit the power company will charge you, the Taiwan government will pay you, I think about 10.2 Taiwan dollar. So it's equivalent to about probably 30 cents US dollar. So that's a pretty good deal. And they guarantee that rate for 20 years and just pay you month by month. So my neighbors in California, I actually live in California, in Santa Rosa. It's a very sunny place. So my neighbors in California, there was a rule called net metering. Okay? Meaning in the daytime, people put up the solar panel. They generate a lot of electricity, but you don't use as much. So the leftover electricity will sell back into the power company, PG&E, and the meter is actually turning backwards. So my neighbor is really, really happy to, invite anybody that comes into my garage and see my electricity meter actually turning backward. So I'm earning money second by second. So every day in the morning they come out, they pray. They hope the sun comes out, and there's no complaint whatsoever on the very, very strong sunlight, California, our neighbor tend to complain. So, well, I can't even drive because I have to have my sunglasses on, otherwise I can't see anything. The sun is too bright. But in this way, you pray for the sun to be the brightest possible, because you get paid on generating electricity. So this is called a grid-tied system. It's the majority of PV system in the world. It's also off-grid, which you often see in the place in the rural area, in the place that there was no electricity grid. So this is actually a very important part of the rural electrification, because in some place, just like cell phone, okay, like in China or in Africa, India, in the rural area, a lot of people don't even have a landline. They don't have a house phone. They just jump right into the cell phone. Okay, so leapfrog. And this is the same thing is going to happen for the electricity. They don't have electricity at all, but as long as they have a solar panel, they can do anything. They can do all the things that we can do today. Only if the sun comes up. In the nighttime, they have to find battery. So that's a different problem. Okay, that's a different problem. But off-grid system is actually very important for the rural area. Okay, so now you know the principle of the PV system, and you see how the PV system works. So let's talk about how we're going to make this device. Okay, starting from the thing called polysilicon. Before the polysilicon, there should be another thing is called sand. The same thing that you see in the beaches, sand, which is the most abundant material in the world. Okay, the sand was nothing, and you can actually creating gold out of sand by going through this process. Because once you get through this, you're connecting into the grid. You're actually getting cash back. Okay, but it's a long process of coming all the way through. Okay. So let me explain that in probably less than a minute. So it's a long process. So from sand, you have to purify that into the so-called polysilicon. Okay, so it's highly purified sand in a way. Then you take this highly purified sand, put it into the crucible. Okay, so you melt that down, just like you melt the metal. Okay. You melt that down, the temperature is going to be like 1,000 degrees. And you melt that entire material down. And then you cool it down gradually, so it will form the crystal. It will form the silicon crystal, becoming like a block like this. It comes with a different shape, depending on the vessel that you're holding. It could be, this is the process of making the multi-crystalline. Remember earlier slide, I said there was a monocrystalline. Monocrystalline is a different process. It's more expensive. And the shape of the ingot is going to be like a cylindrical fashion. It's round shape coming out. It's the same process making the semiconductor material. So this is the cheaper way of doing that. So ingot, then you have to cut it. So usually we cut it to 25 pieces, square block. So the block will look like this. Then you have to polish that, square, make it looks very, very nice. And then you have to slice it, just like you're slicing the toast. Okay? A loaf of bread, and you slice into like 20 pieces or something like that. And this one will be sliced into 100 pieces. Very, very thin layer. Okay, so like this one, you can see it's very thin slice. It's thinner than your hair, basically. Okay? It's somewhere between 20 micron to 180 micron. And it's going even thinner. Because if you're capable of slicing thinner, then you're producing more wafers. And that means, you're lowering the average cost for eventual power generation. Okay? So that's the effort. So you're making the block, slicing into the wafer, and then you take the wafer, manufacturing into the solar cell. And of course, there's about 10 different steps of the process you have to go through to make the wafer become in the cell. And the cell will look like this. Okay, these two. So later on, I will explain the differences between these two types. So once you have cell, then the cell is capable of generating electricity already. So if you put this under the sun and you touch it, you can probably feel a little bit electricity coming out. If you connect a small LED, it will light up. You're actually generating power. And then you string all these cells together and put an aluminum frame and a glass and everything together, make it becoming a module. The module is the final product of this entire solar process. And then you put multiple modules together, connect into the inverter, then you get a solar system. Okay? So that's the whole thing, the whole supply chain manufacturing process. That's the whole thing, how that works. Okay? And any question? No question. Okay. So after you have this, so this is easy. So now you're becoming the expert of solar system. Okay. So after you put the module inverter together, it's just a matter of economics. Okay. How much power you want to generate and how much money you want to get back from the power company. Or how much power do you need to power your building or to power your industry? Okay, it could be running the factory. So imagine if you have a lot of panels together, you'll be able to power the entire city. You can actually power the entire country by solar. Now, of course, in the nighttime you have to shut down everything because there's no sun. If you wanted to have electricity, you have to have a battery backup or a backup system or whatever. Okay? But anyway, this is how the solar system works. So, we're going to go into a little bit more detail. Are you ready for that? Okay, the solar cell. Solar cell is the key components. Okay, so it's the most important piece in the entire solar system. If the solar cell breaks, then there will be no electricity. Okay. The inverter will not work, the power company will not pay you any money because your solar cell doesn't work. Okay, so you have to understand solar cell. The solar cell, as I said, there are two major types, monocrystalline and multicrystalline. Okay. The difference is really on the material purity. Okay. The monocrystalline, the material is purer than the multicrystalline. But of course, you pay the price. Okay? So you want a pure material, you pay higher price. and it's capable of generating more electricity within the same area. Okay. So right now, the current size of the battery, the solar battery, is 6 inches across. Okay. The dimension, if you take the square, is 156 times 156 millimeter. So that's the area. That's how large it is. So if you have ruler, you can actually, come up here and measure. That's exactly 156 millimeter across. Okay. So, without going into the detail, anybody wanted to guess? Okay. Is this one generating more electricity, or is this one generating more electricity? Okay. So, the people think this one generating more, raise your hand. Okay. Think this one generating more, raise your hand. I see a little bit more hand on this one. So I guess you guys are really educated. So you're right, you're right. This one is capable of generating more electricity because what? Monocrystalline. And why is monocrystalline generating more electricity? Oh, pure, okay. So basically the number that characterize the purity eventually is called the conversion efficiency. It's how much sunlight can you convert into the electricity. And it's typically characterized by the percentage. So if you be able to convert, because sunlight has a rating of the power, okay, which I'm going to jump into the next one. Okay, so not this one. Okay, so maybe I hold that question a little bit. So you're right, it's the purity, and purity eventually showed up in the conversion efficiency. So the higher the conversion efficiency will be able to give you a higher power, okay, higher power. So hold that concept, because today I'm gonna have a quiz. And you're gonna use that concept to answer. Okay. So out of this monocrystalline and multicrystalline, of course there are others, which is I show in the I guess it's first or the second slide. Different materials. Okay. There's a different material. It's called a Cadian terraline. It's also known as a thin film solar cell. And the benefit of that is that kind of solar cell is flexible. This one is rigid. So if you bend it, it will break. Once you break, it will lose the power. But the thin film is flexible. So if you want to use in an electricity car, like Prius, okay, they have an option that you can buy the solar panel on the roof, on the new roof or sunroof, whatever. That's an option, very expensive option, okay. And those are the thin film solar cell. And also the calculator, I don't know if you ever use a small calculator that has a strip of the solar cell, those are thin film. And if you have a garden light in your backyard, those are typically thin film. And thin film is much lower in terms of the conversion efficiency. It's typically 10%, something like that. And these are typically in the range of 16 to 18%, 17, 18%. And it's going higher every year. Okay, it's going higher every year. So, now a little bit more technical thing. So the cell, we connect multiple cells to make a module. This is how they connect it. This is one cell, see that? Positive, negative, and then you connect, let's say, the top one to the bottom. So you connect the positive to the negative and the positive to negative, and then connect all together. And then this one goes into here, this one goes into here. So you have a terminal which give you a positive and negative lead. Okay. So that's how you connect all these solar cells together. And this one is very typical 60-cell module. Okay. So the power of this module is a total of each individual cell minus the connection loss. Okay. This is when you connect all these together, the contact problem and the soldering problem, all these different things. And then you add a glass and the film on top of that to protect the solar cell. It also reduces the incoming sunlight. So there was about 2% to 3% loss in the total power. Okay. But anyway, this is kind of how that layer works. So you have solar cell right in the middle, and you have a glass on the top, and then you have a sheet of plastic, and a sheet of plastic, and then another back sheet here. All connect together, becoming solar panel. So solar panel has to be very reliable because it typically will, once you install, then you will forget about that. It will just sit there for another 20, 30 years. So a typical warranty for a solar panel is 25 years. And it's pushing longer. And the reason why is, once you put on the roof tile is typically 20 to 30 years warranty. So you want to be at the same lifespan like that. And for the future solar cell, it's probably going to be even longer. And that will be decided by the material that we are using to make the solar panel. Okay? So hopefully, someday it will be a lifetime. So once you put up there, it will just stay there. There's also another very important question, is once you reach the end of the life, what do you do with those solar panels? Okay? So you don't want to create the waste. You have to find a place for the landfill and things like that. No. But right now, this solar panel is 100% recyclable. So there's a program, it's a worldwide program called the PV Recycle, called the PV Cycle. And all the large solar companies like Motec, we have to be a member of that. And so far, we are the only one in Taiwan. There are so many solar companies. We are the first one and the only one in the PV Cycle membership. That's a worldwide organization because we are the largest solar company in Taiwan. They want to set the example. So the green energy company, we have to be very careful about we are not polluting the earth from our own device or anything, after that. Now the last piece is called the inverter. I think I talked about that a little bit. The inverter, the purpose of that is really converting the DC to AC in order to connect with the grid. So you have to connect to the grid to get the money from the power company. If you don't connect, they don't pay you. Okay? If you cannot use up all the electricity, then you just waste it. It goes back to the air. you cannot keep it. Okay? Of course, you say, oh, I can store the electricity in the battery. Of course, then you pay the battery. Then you can store that. Or you store into your charger or whatever. So DC to AC. And it's also power balancing between multiple modules. Because all these modules, when you put up in the field or in the rooftop, sometimes some of the module will be shaded, will be in the shading area, the trees and all these different things and debris, or even clouds, and creating an uneven power generation situation.